Welcome back, everybody. This is my third video for the 2021 Over the Hump Summer Race Series. I made the first two commentary videos when the race was still going last summer, and I'm watching these last two races after a lot of time has passed. I'm pleased with how I rode them, and I kept moving up in the results. Every week I got a little bit better, and I think I learned a lot from the first two races and from making these videos. And that helped me not make bad decisions that cost me a race position. There's still plenty to learn and plenty more fitness to gain. And I think there are some key takeaway points that I can draw from the last two races here. So let's get into it. This is race number 7, and it started with a backward line up the jump line, and then up this nasty little bottleneck where you can see a lot of people are getting jammed up, having to hop off their bikes. And by the time everybody recovered, there's a huge gap opening up ahead of us. That's a great example of why I like to stay at the front of the race early. You stay away from a lot of these bottlenecks that you don't have a lot of control over. Fewer people ahead of you just means fewer chances for people to crash or get jammed up. So that's something that I've taken into the 2022 season. It's something that you can't always control. Sometimes when you line up, it is what it is. But when you can, an early lineup and a quick start off the line, especially when you've reconned the course and you know there's going to be a bottleneck early on, it's worth it trying to line up closer to the front of the pack and get away quick and avoid some of that drag. Here we are just a few minutes later in the race, and I've learned to take a better line through this corner. The grippy, good surface is on the right hand side, but you can see I'm still not getting it. I'm losing ground through this, so there's still work to be done here. Here we are coming up the backlot climb, and I found that standing to climb this was working for me. I could push 350 or 400 watts, which for me is aggressive, and I could sustain that to the top of the climb and pick up a few places, and that was really working for me. You might remember from the first two videos, the backlot climbs where I would just completely lose position and time, and things were terrible for me, and later on in this series it became one of my strengths. So I'm calling that a big personal win for the series. And my last note for this race is that I really wanted to take this corner better. You can see I'm inside way too early, and that puts me just kind of running up the berm and having to make a hard turn. It feels more solid, but I'm sure it's slower, and it leaves me not carrying enough speed to get up this rise here. I'm happy with how I rode the last bit of this race. I didn't let anybody get by me in the final few seconds here, but just the same, that berm comes up at least 2 or 3 times a season in the different races, and I want to do a better job riding it. Okay, so that's it for race 7. Let's talk about race 8. And the recurring theme is me taking bad lines, and here I am doing it again. This one's tricky. It's got a weird loose band of soil going through the middle of it. I don't know if there's a way to avoid that, but you can see pretty much everybody else in that bunch I was with took it better than I did. So that's something I'm definitely going to have to work on. So my skills are not great, but I'm making better decisions. I learned in earlier races that it's worth picking up a couple of positions if you can before a little bottleneck. And right here, we're coming down the bottom of the straights and going into a sharp left-hand turn on loose gravel. And I just felt the pace start to slack off a little bit and just kept pedaling. I didn't really do anything heroic, just kept it rolling. And that worked really well for me going through this turn. You can see I even pick up another spot coming through the turn. Going into this turn at the top of the jump line, I've got 2 notes. One is to protect my inside line. You can see somebody sneaking inside, and that ends up completely jamming me up. I've got to put a foot down, kind of crawl around this right-hand turn. Doesn't help anything. And I check it out, and I don't take the quick steep line. I go around, and you can see that the rider was just in front of me is gone. So my note to myself after this race was to take that steeper line and set up better for it next time. And that was it for my 2021 Over the Hump series. I rolled in for 13th in this race, which was a huge improvement over where I was earlier in the season. In race number 3, I was 22nd. So I was really happy to put it together, learn a lot earlier in the season, and improve as much as I did. I started out doing this series of commentary videos mostly for my own notes, and to see where I was making mistakes that I could fix without having to get faster or without having to get fitter. I feel like good decisions pay off immediately for free, whereas I can train all I want, and that's going to pay off a couple of weeks or a couple of months from now. Good decisions pay off immediately. And what I see in the last couple of races was that I wasn't getting shuffled back in the pack because of position or tactical mistakes. Instead, it's clear that my trail skills are a problem. I'm not cornering well, I'm taking wide lines, and I'm skittish on the loose trail, so I took that into the time between the seasons and decided to work on that. And the other thing was, it's plain that the folks getting past me, they're just plain faster. They're fitter than I am, and if I want to do better in these races, I'm just going to have to put the work in. I hope you liked the series. I hope you enjoyed watching me make mistakes, and we'll catch you next season. Bye.